Thank you so much to Aaron for that traffic update. Now, for the final time today, we bring you your sport news. Now, the nominees for the 17th edition of the SA Sports Awards were announced last night by Minister Zizwi Kodwa. Now, what we can say is that those that are tasked with picking the winners in those categories really do have a tough task ahead of them. Of course, we know that the past year of sport, we've seen nothing but pure excellence. Now, to talk about this, we've roped in the Deputy Director General in the Department of Sport, Arts and Culture, Sumayya Khan. Hey, good morning to you, Sumayya. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Good morning, Busiwe, and so glad to be here this morning.
So it's actually a big year because it's the 17th edition of the SA Sport Awards, but more than that, it's 30 years of democracy and looking at what has been done and what has been achieved when we look at what's happened in the world of sport. What's your take?
It's going to be an amazing sports awards. And I think, for us celebrating 30 years of democracy, this awards is actually celebrating sporting excellence or celebrating 30 years of democracy through sporting excellence. And as you've said, we've had an amazing, amazing year of sport in the country. Such amazing achievements. And if you have to now couple that with what we've done over 30 years, I mean, who can forget we've hosted a World Cup in 2010. The Springboks have won, the World Cup 4 times within that 30 years. We've had amazing feats in other codes of sport as well. We've hosted an amazing Netball World Cup just last year. And then coming back to 2023, what an amazing year. And I think it's something we need to look forward to every 4 years, that last year we've had our teams participate in the Rugby World Cup, in the Cricket World Cup, the Netball World Cup, the FIFA Women's World Cup. And we had the indoor hockey World Cup in South Africa. We hosted the table tennis championships here. We've hosted, the rowing Masters World Cup here. We've hosted Down syndrome. So there's such a lot of sporting excellence, sporting activities that, really gave us this excellent year of sport in 2023.
And that's why we say that those that are tasked with deciding eventually who the winners are in each and every single category are really going to have a tough job. But Sumayya, the awards are not just about the athletes on the field of play. We look at the volunteers, we look at the administrators, we look at the technical officials, the people that make it easier for the athletes to get out into their respective fields and make their job easier. Let's talk about that and how important these other individuals are in keeping the wheel going.
Yeah, thanks. I think, the Sports Awards is about sporting excellence. It's about recognizing the achievements on and off the field. And importantly, it's to showcase, and in this 30 years of democracy, to showcase the transformative power of sport for social change, of bringing about social cohesion, of nation building. We've seen how South Africans get together when there's a major sport event, how proud we are of our country, seeing our national flag, singing of our national anthems, especially when our athletes are winning. And I think if we look at all of the nominees in the list that was announced by the minister last night, you will just see, the codes of sport. It may have been a very difficult task, and we had a really, really very good panel, esteemed panel, high integrity, looking at this here. So it was a difficult task. And the amazing thing, we've seen codes of sport we've never seen there before, like sheep shearing. And we've had cycling, who's come as the Federation of the Year, amongst all the others. But we're really very pleased that there are new names, people who have excelled, Kirsten in her sailing. So it's really an amazing lot of young people also who have come through to the school sport. We've had our young team of young girls, Edendale Technical High School, who really, really did us proud at the, the African, the CAF schools football championships. So across the board, our disabled athletes. So it is a showcase, of our best athletes. It's also showing our athletes who have broken barriers, our women, our disabled athletes. So it's really going to be an amazing awards.
Absolutely looking forward to it. You touch on the Kirsten and her sailing. Let's speak about that category, that the People's Choice, the Sports Star of the Year, because this is one that's big every single year. Everyone looks forward to it. You've got the likes of Eben, Elizabeth, Elizabeth. You've got Gerte Steyn, Siamthanda Kolisi, Percy Tau, and wrapping up the People's Choice Awards category is Kirsten Nooy-Schaefer. Let's speak about this category and how much excitement it brings, and also one that the people of South Africa can get involved in.
Yes, definitely. I mean, each one of these nominees have really done us proud. Eben, you know, he was a Rugby Player of the Year. You've got Percy Tau, who's really, you know, really been a Masters footballer. We've seen him at AFCON. Gerte Steyn, we've just recently seen her, you know, at the Two Oceans. So, and obviously Kirsten. So we are really urging South Africans to go out and please, they have to vote for these young, these athletes who made us so proud. So we're saying to South Africans, please go out and vote for these athletes. We know you have your favorites, but all of them are winners to us.
Absolutely. Let's talk about the awards. When is the ceremony taking place? Where is it taking place? How do people get involved if they can?
Okay. The awards takes place on the 5th of May. It's at Sun City. How do you get involved? It is by invitation. However, the good news is that it's going to be broadcast live on SABC from 8 p.m. on Sunday evening. So everybody gets to watch it. Even if you're not there, you can watch it. A beautiful 2-hour show on SABC.
Oh, I love it. I love it. And as I wrap up with you, Sumayya, I do just want to talk about what has been a victory for the Department of Sport, Arts and Culture. And I know I used to bump into you at boxing all the time when I was ring announcing, and you always come and watch these boxing bouts. Let's talk about that judgment that came in from the High Court out in Johannesburg in terms of what it means for the sport of boxing. We know that the boxing promoters were going up against the minister in terms of the appointment of the board for BSA. Let's talk about that and what the future is looking like now for South African boxing.
Okay, thank you very much, Vusiwe. I think the minister made a statement, and I think we do welcome the judgment, and we really need to look forward. There is this importance of ensuring that the accounting authority, the board of boxing, is actually appointed. And the process has started already to look at the appointment of a new board. So we're looking forward to finalizing that process and moving forward, because, I mean, there is such a lot of interest. Boxing is so popular. I mean, you've been there, boxing is back. We've had such beautiful memories of, you know, all the boxing events that we've had in provinces in partnership with the SABC, with Boxing South Africa. And I think, you know, really, we're doing it for our boxers. We're doing it for people who make a living out of boxing. And importantly, you know, to showcase the talent that we have. I mean, we have Sivanati, who's one of our nominees in the Sports Awards. So there's so much more. If we have to look at 30 years of democracy, we have Baby Jake Matlala and so many icons in boxing, and we still want to see more. So it's important for us to actually move forward.
Oh, thank you so much for your time this morning, Sumayya Khan, joining us to talk all things about the SA Sport Awards, and of course just touching on that judgment. Now, the National Boxing Promoters Association did bring an application. It has been dismissed with costs, and soon we will have a boxing board appointed for Boxing South Africa. And finally, those South African Sports Awards on the 5th of May out at Sun City. You can catch it live on SABC1.